situation in the last few weeks, and particularly Romero. You talked about him before being a big leader in the outside. I wondered, I know the Spanish and Portuguese speaking, has there been a particular connection between the two?
Yeah, no, look, I think the team has helped, but not just Richie. I think the team's, that's where, like I said before, I think there's a real strong. I mean, it's a really, strong dressing room in terms of the guys really supporting each other, and we've had a number of guys who are coming back from long-term injuries or missed football, and I think the reason they've come back and never felt disconnected is because of the dressing room created, and for that you need good leaders, and Sonny is definitely that, and Romero now is like I said in the last few weeks has grown even more, I think, and he's a positive influence on everyone in the group, and I'm sure Richie and but there's other guys and look, I see it on a daily basis, others don't, but if you watch someone like say Emerson Royale train every day, you'd think he'd played every game. He's just outstanding with his attitude, with his demeanour around the place, and there's no time for anyone to feel down, because when you see a guy like Emerson, or we've got a few in that boat this year, Fraser and Ben, who just train so hard every day, always have the greatest disposition in terms of their demeanour. It doesn't give anyone else an excuse to not feel up for it, and they're the kind of things I think that make a difference to a dressing room, like I said, as well as your leaders. And so if you're going through a tough time, or maybe you're battling with a few things, you walk into that room and you see these kind of people, your leaders and others who just lift you up, and then now Richie's going through a good spell. I'm sure that there's guys in there now that he'll be giving a lift to as well, because he understands how important it is.
Talking about the demeanour of players, I mean, yeah, obviously the players play a big part, but when we speak to some of your players, they often talk about how happy they are playing for you, how much they enjoy it, and it looks like with Richarlison, he's enjoying his football as well. How conscious are you of making them enjoy their time?
Yeah, I'm a little bit torn with that, because like I keep saying, they should, I'm not, we're not in there going in there holding hands and singing songs and kind of, I just think, it's how you define the word happiness. I think my responsibility is to provide an environment for them to fulfil their dreams, and that doesn't mean that I'm always going to, be cheery around the place, or I think sometimes that requires me to show them the way forward, and that way forward sometimes is tough. It's not about, but hopefully they get enjoyment from seeing themselves improve, from seeing themselves, achieve things, from seeing themselves being part of something special, and that's the kind of sort of happiness that I want. I just don't want players. I'm really sort of wary of that, actually, that if I sense anyone's getting too comfortable, it just, that sort of disturbs me more than anything else, and I feel like I need to give them a bit of a push along, but like I said, depending how you define happiness, I do think that my role is to, like I said, give them a sense of purpose. It's like, for all of us, mate, if we can, if we've got people around us who love us and they're all healthy and we wake up with a bit of purpose every day, then I think we should all be pretty happy and thankful for what we've got.
Just finally on Richarlison, 7 goals in 7 games. And you mentioned that you think he can play better and get even better. Is he making a pretty good case at the moment to be the long-term answer at centre forward?
Yeah. And in my best 11, is that what you're saying?
It's a talking point. People wondering if Spurs will one day bring him more strong.
Yeah, look, I've never thought in those terms, because I just think if you do, then, like I said, again, you box yourself in. What I do want is, for Richie to keep improving and keep it, developing his football and becoming a real, force for us, and then we'll see where that takes us, because as this year alone has shown us, whatever plans or designs I had about what kind of formation I'm going to play and which players are going to play a part of that pretty much went out the window after the first 15 minutes of Brentford, when Romero gets concussion and I'm going to make a change. So you can't. I've never thought in those terms. Like I said, for me, it's about trying to get players to fulfil their potential. And with Richie, I still think there's growth there. And if it keeps growing, well, we, the football club, will be the beneficiaries of it.
Ange, hello. Can I ask you a bit more about James Maddison?
Yep.
A bit related to your happy talk with Charleston, probably, but some players just seem to have a knack of inspiring fans on lifting the stadium, and he got a great reception when he came back. Why do some players do that, and why does James do that?
Look, I guess, he is one of these players that, he's exciting to watch. I think, he's a very creative player, and invariably, supporters for the most part, love those kind of players who, are a little bit different and can do something a little bit different on the football field. Part of it's just the way he carries himself. I think Matters, likes to be, for want of a better term, in the spotlight in the right way. He doesn't shy away from that responsibility that, I'm in the team to kind of create and be a force, and he embraces that. And I think, again, supporters enjoy that, watching one of their own sort of stand up in that kind of environment. So I think it's a combination of things, and he's just a lovable little rogue, mate, apparently.
Is he like that around the camp?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. He doesn't mind a moan, and like I said, when he was injured, he wasn't great, but he's very upbeat guy, and he's not short of a word, which is not a bad thing. I think characters like that and personalities like that are really important in a dressing room, provided they back it up on the field. And for me, that's always the ultimate measure, and he's more than backed that up out in the field.
I know you wouldn't tell me England's not your problem, but we've always had a difficult relationship with what you might call flair players in the national team. They haven't always been given a sort of fair run, or some admirers might. But anyway, is it an important inspiration for him to be part of the England team and be at the Euros in the summer?
Yeah, I'd like to think so, because I don't think there's any reason why what he does at club level is not transferable to international level. But again, that depends on sort of the team structure and the other players in the team, because there's always got to be, whatever side you have, there's got to be a chemistry there. You can't have, as much as there might be a universe where that exists, you can't have 11 James Maddisons in your team. You need other kinds of players, other different types of players. That's the beauty, that's the chemistry we're all after, where you've got a little bit of everything in your team. So that's always a challenge for every manager is, sometimes how do you fit all these pieces so it makes a beautiful puzzle at the end of it. And, sometimes we try and jam these pieces into spaces they don't fit.
John? It's very unusual to see Tottenham as the biggest spenders in a transfer window. It's almost a parallel universe totally.
In the smaller spending window? There's a bit of context there. Yeah.
Do you see this the fact it's a levelling playing?
Come on, mate. Come on, mate. Don't tell me I bought my way to the top because I spent.
That's what I'm saying. Is it the perfect opportunity for a big club like Spurs that has been sensible in the future?
Yeah, look,
You've got an advantage now that others.
I think all those things are an advantage. Whether you got £1 or £1 billion, it's how you spend it. I really do. I have no issue with clubs that spend a lot of money if they get it right. Good on them. They're investing their money wisely. It's like all of us. Whatever you got, you want to invest it wisely. So whether that's, a sort of limitless amount or a finite amount, as we're all finding out that there is now, you can't just spend. You need to sort of be prudent around. It's how you spend it because, I think for us, we've done a good job strategically because part of the brief, from my perspective anyway, was to do it early, right? That was really important for us because I know people kind of dismiss that aspect of it, but, if we didn't have Timo and even Radu over the last sort of 3 weeks and drop games, we wouldn't be in the position we are. We'd be in a very different position, So that was just as important for me as us doing business. And look, maybe you're right, maybe because of the lack of activity, it allowed us to do that early. But I still think we were pretty smart about it in terms of the targets we identified and, and the way we did it with Timo and Radu. So, look, is there an opportunity? I think there's always an opportunity. It's how you kind of embrace and take it.
Do you feel that there will be an opportunity in the future because of the financial prudency?
Well,
You've got an advantage going into next season.
well, it depends again how we use that money. You know, if we misspend, we're going to be in the same kind of bind, because once you misspend, you have to replace, don't you? And you can't. So it's not, like I said, it's as much about how you spend it as it is what you spend, because one mistake now, particularly with you know, financial fair play, one mistake costs you more than that, because you've got to replace that player. You can't sell him for what you bought him, so there's a whole knock-on effect. So I think part of it is clubs are just, I could be wrong, but are taking a little bit more care in the kind of way they're going to spend it. I don't think that'll change now. I think they're going to say, well, look, if we're going to invest X amount, irrespective of what that is, let's try and get it right as much as we possibly can.
We did see the previous manager here say the recruitment has been terrible. You actually had to say that, and you've got lots of people on loan. It seems very impossible to see that happening with the squad you have at the moment. You've already got the building blocks.
Yeah, to a certain extent. And look, I don't think, you know, I don't talk about the past because I wasn't here, and I don't think it's fair on me to talk, you know, about other managers or the circumstances they were in, because I know how challenging this role is. But you know, from my perspective, I said last week, recruitment ultimately is my responsibility. You know, if we go down the wrong path, it's on me, because I've got the one that's got the final say. So, you know, that's where I kind of, you know, I put myself in that position, and you know, obviously, if it doesn't go right, then I've got to take the flak for that. But I'm also very, very confident when I make these decisions about, you know, minimising the risk any club takes, because I just got a real clear idea about what I want and whether it'll fit into what we're doing.
Finish with Dan, please.
Ange, can you talk about Lucas Bergwijn? I know the deal's not been announced yet, but we understand he's here now, sort of completing the move. So I wonder if you could say what you see.
Yeah, no, look, I think just with respect to the player, the club, even our club, I don't like speaking about these things, because there's always maybe something. Look, it's fair to say it's a fair way down the line, and hopefully gets concluded. And once it does, happy to chat about it then.
Okay, thanks guys.
Thank you.